Hey guys, Wooksy here. Today I'm just going to be showing you all of the abilities that you can roll on your weapon. Um, a lot of them are pretty bad, but the three top I would say are probably Multishot, Buriza, and Burst Shot. There's a couple other ones that are also good, like the Poison one and the Hellfire. But you'll see that later in the video. But just to show you an example of how crazy some of these abilities can get, for the Saint Solo YOLO's Holy Bow, it comes with Burst Shot, and I added Buriza to it. So if you'll just look at how many arrows I'm shooting, it's absolutely ridiculous. So you can actually have some pretty insane weapon combos. And also one thing to remember, you can only roll these on weapons. They cannot be rolled on any other item. They cannot be rolled on shields. They can only be rolled on your weapon slot. Now, what are ability tokens? Ability tokens you get from the mining guy. They cost currently right now 12 jade each. So what the ability token does is it gives your item an option to roll the ability token. So all you have to do when it decides to work is do that and it rolls it. So you can just continue rolling until you get what you want. Doesn't matter. It's not going to cap you out or anything. So you're fully safe to roll as much as you want. Also in that regards, we're going to talk about the quality or the reroll tokens. This re-rolls the actual percent on the item itself. For example, the Anubis ink is at 77%. We're going to take it and just re-roll it. So now it's 85%. I can continue doing this forever. The only situation I would not be able to do this on is if I bricked a weapon with the satanic dice. But I'll disclose that in another video. Now I'll just quickly go over each of the weapon abilities. Just remember, a lot of them don't work currently. For example, Tomahawk on the weapon. Of course, I have Bash on it right now, but Tomahawk's supposed to allow you to throw your weapon. Currently doesn't allow you to do that, so just bear in mind with some of these weapon abilities, they are bugged and do not work. But with that said, let's get right into it. So I'll initially start out with the special abilities that actually work, and then I'll follow up with the ones that are currently bugged right now. This one's Chilling Death. Now what Chilling Death does is it just puts a debuff on a target that slows them. You'll see it proc in a second when the target dummy turns blue, like that. It'll just basically slow them, freeze them. It's not a super impressive enchant. This next one we have on is Cold Snap. Now it kind of works like Chilling Death, only except it actually does damage as well. I believe Chilling Death does a dot compared to Cold Snap just doing a standard massive hit. Have to confirm those two though. Butcher's Fury is really nice. It was that big red explosion that you just saw. Maybe we can get it to proc again. But it basically just gives you a big yeah, like a skull slash gore explosion. It does a lot of damage, usually one-shots most stuff. So it's also a really good choice. And that one was Butcher's Fury. This next one's Critical Strike. It just gives you an odd to hit a critical strike. It's nothing great. I don't even think it shows a proc or anything, to be honest. Yeah, not that great. This next one's Deadly Poison. This one's actually really strong for some classes, especially like Necro, because it just applies poison to your target. The poison's not even that bad either. It does stack, so you can get the poison stacks to be pretty substantial. Right now the poison's hitting for about 100,000 without any stacks on it, 200k with stacks, 300k, 500k. And that's with me not even being poison based. So if I was poison based on an AoE character, this thing would be ripping mobs up left and right. This ability is Flight. Basically like Flight on boots or anything. It's just gonna make you be able to fly over obstacles. Not the best ability to have since you can get Flight from relics, but It's definitely up there. So this next one I have is Gunshot. Actually doesn't do a whole ton of damage, but it does seem to proc fairly decent. This next one's one of my favorite ones. It's Hellfire. The only problem is with the actual ability token Hellfire, it doesn't do a lot of damage. They actually need to buff the damage on the ability token one quite a bit for it to be something worth using. And the proc on it isn't that great as well. So let's see if we can get another proc. So there's two so far, three. Of course it's gonna proc every single hit just because I said it's a bad proc. But the damage on it is very, very low. So it's not worth using right now currently, but if they do buff the damage on it, it could be one of the better ones. Now this next one we got is Hex. It turns your target into an apple for a couple seconds. Let's just see if we can get to proc. There we go. So it's quite useful for bosses, as you can basically keep them chain CC'd. Especially for like large packs of mobs. This procs fairly often, so maybe we can get to proc one more time. So it's not the worst choice, definitely not. This one's Lightning Fury. It's just gonna shoot a little like lightning bolt towards the target when it procs. Should proc anytime now. It's actually one of the higher procking ones. Unless it's just gonna spite me for the video, which it might. There we go. There's one proc so far. Let's see if we can get one more. The good thing about the lightning proc though, it actually chains. So depending on how many targets you have, you could be doing chain lightning across the map. It's really good. Just obviously it's not procking very much for me right now, but it usually does proc very often. Now Ninja Shiv is kind of like the shuriken toss that you can get from the relic. Let's see if we can get to proc. There we go. Yeah, it's just like the Shiv relic. Let's see if we can get to proc again. Well, the proc rate on this is really bad, so I already suggest not using it. There we go. Yeah, in 30 seconds we got two procs. Not very good. Now this next one's a really interesting one because not a lot of people really know what it does. It's called Buriza. It makes it look like your attack speed's a lot faster, but what it does is it shoots 3 independent bullets. So it's not like Burst Shot where it shoots 3 consecutive shots from the same attack. It shoots 3 specific attacks. So each one of these attacks are different. That could be a good and bad thing. That means that your crits can be either one of the attacks critting, all 3 of them critting, none of them critting. It's not like Burst Shot where if you hit a crit, you're critting with all 3 attacks. It also does a lot less damage than Burst Shot because Burst Shot also increases your actual damage of the skill, where Buriza just increases your attack speed. So it's basically like a mini Burst Shot. It's a really good option if you haven't hit Burst Shot yet and you've hit Buriza and don't have a ton of ability tokens. It's one of my favorite ones because it procs everything really good. And what I mean by that is if you're using like proc relics, Buriza will be proccing those relics almost every single hit. So for example, with the Storm Dagger, it would be hitting this target every single second just about with Buriza. So that's really good, it's really strong, but it's just not as strong as Burst Shot. Alright, and this is what Burst Shot looks like. It just basically gives you a quick succession of 3 bullets. So, there you go, 1, 2, 3. It's a really good skill. It's probably one of the best ones to use for most classes, as it also doubles or also triples your melee hits as well. It works really good with your procs and many other things. So Burst Shot is definitely by far the best ability to get for most classes. And this is what Multishot looks like. It just splits your target or splits your attack into 3 attacks. It's not like Burst Shot where it's 3 consecutive attacks. It's just 3 attacks in, a general direction you're facing. So makes your AoE a little bit better. And currently, flamethrower doesn't work as well. Um, I've heard it working on one other weapon before, but I believe it only works on the flamethrower weapon that it's currently on, as no other weapon has the ability to use the flamethrower that it has. So currently I think it's bugged, but not 100% sure on that. Now this next one is also bugged, but it's spectral shots. It's supposed to work like spectral arrow in terms of being able to shoot through scenery. It doesn't work like that, as you can see very clearly. Not able to shoot through the tree or anything else. Gets stuck on some of the fence posts. Doesn't shoot through the target dummy. So it's not working as intended, so it's a wasted ability. Now, piercing, however, does work. So it does allow you to shoot through terrain and enemies. So it's definitely a lot better than spectral shots. Yeah, it's just way better. It's like the piercing from Scarred Battle Darts. So this next one's Ground Slam. I don't know if you actually have to be attacking the target to proc it or not, so we're just gonna see without it. If it doesn't proc in a couple seconds, I'll attack it and see if it procs. Not really seeing any procs yet, so I believe this is the ground slam from Garog's weapon. It doesn't proc very often at all. As you can tell, it's been over 30 seconds now. We still don't have a proc on it yet. This is his Tomahawk. Now, it's currently bugged. It should be allowing me to throw my weapon, but it's not. And finally, we have Bash. I actually don't know if this one works as well. Kind of just testing it out. See, the problem with a lot of these ability that you can roll on the weapons is that they're from either unique weapons or they're just very specifically built in for those specific weapons, kind of like the Tomahawk prefix or just some of these other ones. They're built for specific weapons, so if you don't have that weapon, it's not going to work. And from this case, it looks like Bash also doesn't work. And that's going to finish up the video today for the weapon abilities. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask away in YouTube or Discord. You can also catch me streaming on twitch.tv/wixiegaming. If you like the video, feel free to subscribe, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks.